A new neighbor has moved into downtown Greensboro. He's shiny, a little bit stiff, and very, very tall. Meet Maybe and the Bot in the Uncanny Valley. All right, Pete, when did you first hear about this Greenway project?
It was a long time ago. I applied, I think it was the Northeast Cornerstone, about more than 10 years ago with a good friend of mine. So I met sort of the whole crew that runs the Greenway, and we came out and toured the site. I didn't get that project, but I just got a really good feel for the whole Greenway and what you guys are doing to sort of connect your downtown and your neighborhoods. I think it's what cities should do with themselves, and I love that there's the art so included in it. And they had mentioned interest in a previous project of mine where I built a giant microscope with a wasp on top in Oregon. They wanted us to focus on whimsy somehow, which is pretty open-ended, and I do a lot of stuff that I think is playful and whimsical. So for me, it was like, oh, that makes sense. So I wanted it to have a partner. The bees are really good representative of sort of our natural environment because it's just a little thing buzzing around your garden, but it's also pollinating all those plants, and without that, the plants aren't making it. So I think that's a really important thing and a very small representative of a much bigger thing that we got to keep worrying about. It's like, can we keep our natural environment working well? And as soon as I started thinking about it that way, I was like, the other big thing I'm worried about right now is tech and AI. And what represents that better than a giant robot? So then I was like, okay, I'm going to put the bee and the robot together. I'm going to put the bee on top of the robot, and I'm going to make the robot try and look a little bit nervous. So that's kind of the intent. He's looking up. He's got kind of a little grimace on his face. He's kind of reaching up, maybe trying to get that bee. So that was kind of with the thought process that got to here. One thing I will say, though, is I like to have a thought process behind designing a project and then build the project and put it out in the public without too much of that information in there, so that whoever comes down the road is going to put on this what they want to put on this.
All right, the bee has a name, Maybe, and there's a reason.
So the reason for that is that bee wings are really interesting. They're mechanically really interesting. Apparently there's two on each side that are separate, and then when a bee goes to fly, they lock in and they fly as single wings. But visually, they're not that interesting. So I started looking at other critters that would naturally occur in our stream bed here. And the mayfly is a great one because the mayfly has a really ugly body, but beautiful wings that look a lot like this. So I stole the mayfly wings and I put them on the bee body. When they first publicly announced the project, there were a few people who were like, that's not a bee. Look at those wings, that's not a bee. I also like that raises a question. Which is it's something we got to worry about. It's a question. So Maybe in the Bot.
How many people? How long?
And June through September, we had a crew of about 6 of us total, myself included. My man Seth there, who helped me out last summer also. And then my 2 daughters were there. They're a senior in high school and a sophomore in college, which nothing better than working with my own kids. And then a couple other kids. One is loosely connected to North Carolina and used to live here. And another good friend of mine's kid. So it was a lot of young folks, and then me and Seth, who were the grown-ups in the crowd. And it was great. It was just a really fun crew to work with all the time, and we were working on such a fun thing. It was just like, it was really a joy for all of us.
So, okay, it's more than meets the eye, though, because we've talked about how it looks, and we can all see, 28 feet tall, all the things. But it also moves. Tell us about that.
It does move. I do a lot of things that move. I'm trained as a structural engineer and as a mechanical engineer, and I just have a lot of interest in that kind of stuff. And I do love when sculpture offers you a little something you didn't expect that invites you in to come engage with it a little bit more. And for me, that's often the best way to do that is to actually get some physical interaction out of the deal. This is the start of the mechanical system. This is the part that invites you on this little pad to come up and engage with the piece. It's just a simple turn crank. It's very lightweight and easy to move. As you turn it, it drives a whole mechanical system up through the hips, up through the back, up through the chest, up into the head, to finally up at the top. It's geared down a lot, keeps it really easy here mechanically, and then it keeps it nice and slow up top, and that's going to keep all the mechanical parts working well for a long time.
Will you bring your girls back to see the finished piece?
Oh, I don't know. I hope so. Somehow I'm popular in North Carolina. This is the 4th piece I've done in North Carolina. One in Raleigh, one at the zoo, and one in Charlotte. So we have reason to come down. I'd like to bring my wife too. There's a restaurant I really like in Raleigh, so I'd like to come down, do that, see the whole thing. So maybe someday, family trip, we'll see.
And what is the best part about doing a piece like this to you?
For me, it's the whole package. It's like starting with somebody, meeting some nice people who are interested in some interesting art, and they have an interesting site that has a lot to give, and starting there with a thought process and chewing through that, and then the design process, and then the building process, and then the installation. The whole package for me is like, without any one piece of that, I would be a lot less satisfied. But for me, with all of it tied together is super satisfying. To see a thing all the way through, to do the work myself with my hands, with a good crew that I enjoy working with, like that's the satisfaction I look for in my life.
It's art that you can interact with. Maybe and the Bot in the Uncanny Valley in downtown Greensboro. He sits on Market Street as you're coming into downtown, right along the final mile of the Downtown Greenway. You can find out about all the events happening on the Greenway, downtowngreenway.org. Stop by and say hi.